Hey everyone, this is Leanne from Of Love and Shiplap and the founder of Subbat Tutorials and More. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss out on any new videos, and check the video description for a link to the Subbat Learning Library app. Inside of our mobile/web app, you can access all of our free tutorials in our neatly organized content library, as well as choose to subscribe for access to exclusive content, community, and courses. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to sublimate these Sublilinen placemats from Johnson's Plastics Plus. Now, these came out last year as one of their 2024 new products, along with coasters and also just the fabric itself that you can purchase if you want to make your own custom items. If you have been around here for a while, then you know that I absolutely love anything that's like table decor and home decor related, and placemats is one of those things that I honestly just can't live without. I love how they look on my table, and they are the kind of item that is pretty easy to market and sell because a lot of people want to protect their furniture today with the use of placemats. Now, this is of course just one type of placemat that's on the market for sublimation, but for me, this is my favorite. I've already tested them out and they wash great and they don't stain too easily. So those things are always positives in my mind. Placemats are the kind of item that can sell all year round, but catering them towards different seasons is a way to easily bring back customers over and over, and you can always make them double-sided, which is my preferred. That way they can be used for multiple seasons and increase the overall value for your customer. So let's go ahead and turn things around. We'll have a look at these and just the quality of them overall, and then we'll go ahead and set our print up in Affinity Designer and press on our Fusion IQ. Here's a look at our Sublilinen placemat from Johnson's Plastics Plus. Now, the Sublilinen line contains both placemats in the rectangle and the round, fabric coasters, garden flags, and I believe a couple of other items, as well as like fabric by the yard, I believe. I think you can get 1 yard or 3 yards, I can't quite remember, but you can just buy just the Sublilinen fabric to make your own custom projects if you are someone who enjoys sewing. Now, I do really like these because, as you can see, they have that linen-like look to them, and they also have a linen-like feel. To me, this is just kind of an aesthetic preference when, you know, someone wants something that looks a bit more natural instead of that canvas polyester look that we see with a lot of other placemats. So for me, it really is all about the texture, and these have become my favorite placemats at this time, considering I always have placemats out and I have tried a few different ones from different vendors. We're going to go ahead and start by getting our measurements. These are, I believe, 11 by 15. We always want to just double check because there are those hem lines and stuff that make a difference. So we are looking at about 5 1/4 or 15 1/4 by about 11 1/2. So we are going to make our design just a little bit bigger in Affinity so that we can make sure we get a nice full bleed, because I am going for a full bleed design today. I'm actually doing the other side of these. I printed these a year ago and I did the Christmas side. So now we're going to do one that is for winter. So that was the Christmas design. You can get this out of Love and Shiplap. And we're going to go ahead and print this other side. So let's get our design set up in Affinity. We are going to be setting up our design in Affinity. Now, if you are not aware, Affinity did recently release a new version that is an all-in-one suite which incorporates Affinity Designer, Publisher, and Illustrator. Be sure to join us for all of our tutorials to learn all there is that you can do within this program for all types of craft purposes. We're going to start by opening up a new document. You're going to come to File and then New or New Document. Now, your document size is going to be the size that you plan on printing on in the orientation that your printer is going to print your document. For this size placemat that we're using today, you could choose to use an 11 by 17 paper if you are not printing full bleed. You can also choose to use a 13 by 19 page if you are printing full bleed. If you have an Epson SureColor F570 printer or one of the models that surpasses that uses rolled paper, you could choose to use either the 17-inch rolls or the 24-inch rolls. For me today, I do actually already have the 17-inch roll paper installed into my Epson SureColor F570 Pro, so I am going to go ahead and use that. If you are setting up your document for the first time, you're going to just come to that document settings area. You're going to set your units accordingly. I like to use inches. Your DPI should be set to 300. Then we have our measurements. In this case, I have my width at 17 and my height at 12 inches. And that is because this is rolled paper, which is 17 inches wide. If you were using Super B paper, that is 13 by 19, you are going to have your width be the 13 and your height be the 19, because when it feeds into your printer, it is going to be in that portrait orientation. Our color format for sublimation is always RGB/8 when we are printing, and the color profile should be set to sRGB IEC 61966-2.1. The only exception to this rule is if you are using a Mac computer and you are having an issue with your color output, then you may need to go with the older color profile, which is Adobe RGB 1998. Now, the color profile here is not the same as your ICC profile. That is something that is dictated in your print settings. So if you have a special ICC for your printer and ink combination that is not the default, you are going to set that in your print settings, not here. I always like to have a transparent background, and then you could of course choose to add guidelines or anything like that if you want margins, if you would like. Once you have everything set, if you'd like to save your preset, simply click Create Preset, and otherwise select Create Document. Next, we're going to import our graphic. You can do this by coming to the image icon in your left toolbar, or by coming to File and Place. Now I've got this little snowman. I call this my Pineberry collection because I have these little greenery pieces and the berries and the lights, and we've got a bunch of different designs over at Of Love and Shiplap that include that. Now this specific design is already created to be used on a placemat or a cutting board, so it is sized almost right. We're just going to want to adjust the size for the measurements that we got of our placemat. However, if you are planning to do like a repeating pattern or something that you might have downloaded elsewhere and you need a good frame of reference, what you're going to do, I'm just going to move this guy down, is select your rectangle tool, click and drag, and you are going to size this to the measurements of your placemat. So our placemat, let's unlock our aspect ratio first. Our placemat had a width of 15 1/4. I actually want to make sure that I size my design just a little bit bigger, so I can do 15.75. And then the height of our placemat was 11.5. If I was doing a full bleed design, I would want to go a little bit larger with the height, but for this one I'm really only trying to get full bleed across the width, so I don't need to worry too much about adjusting the height. We'll just stick with our 11.5 that we got in our measurements. So you will take your rectangle, you're going to come to the color panel, you're going to select that open fill circle, and you're going to choose no fill. You're also going to select the filled in circle, and you're going to select no fill. Then you can bring in any graphic that you want, and you're going to embed it into that rectangle. So if we click on our rectangle, you can see the blue boundary box there. If you click on your image layer and simply drag it so that your cursor is touching the name of your shape layer, you're going to see that it clipped inside. You can then click that little drop down and select your image itself, and this is where you can start to resize things a little bit, and you'll notice that it does snap to the edges. If you're not getting that snapping action, just make sure that this little magnet icon is selected. So this is how you can resize and adjust something and know that you have it within the parameters and the ratio for your design layout with your placemat if you're using a design that is not already sized accordingly. This is just your method for strategically cropping a design. One of the things you always want to be careful of is that you're not trying to alter a design by doing something like, let's see. by doing something like this where you're skewing it. I see this way too often. This is not ever what we want to be doing. We want to proportionately adjust and strategically crop anytime we are trying to fit a design to a substrate that it wasn't automatically created for. Okay, so we have this already set up now to our 15 3/4 inch, and we could actually fit 2 on this if I did need to print 2, but I don't, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right, once you are happy with your design, how everything has been adjusted, you can come to File and then Print. You're then going to choose your printer from your drop-down menu, and you want to click on Properties. Now, depending on the printer that you're using, this is where you're going to dictate any of your special settings that you might have, but most importantly, you do want to select your page size. So for the Epson SureColor F57D Pro, I'm going to come to Settings, and I already have created a bunch of presets based on sizes I typically print. So 17 by 12 inch roll is in there. I want to make sure that I have this altered. This has to do with my measurements, but I'm looking at this graphic. This shows that it is landscape, even though I selected portrait. It's just because of how I entered in my measurements before. So just check that graphic. That's going to be your best guide. And then I'm going to click OK. Next, I want to come to source. I want to make sure that rolled paper is selected, which it is. And this shows the paper width as 24 inches, which is not correct. We have our 17-inch paper in there, so we want to make sure that is selected as well. Our printer settings, you have textile or rigid. For this, we're going to choose textile, and then you just click on Acquire Info to make sure that your printer is set up accordingly. If not, you can just change that in your paper settings. Now, I don't need to make any changes in terms of color, ICC profiles, anything like that with the Epson SureColor F570 Pro. That is the beauty of a sublimation ready printer. The color output is unmatched. You simply cannot get as good of color accuracy with converted sublimation printers. And we are 3 years into owning this printer, and we have not had a single issue with it. It runs its own maintenance. It is perfect every time. It's absolutely worth the investment, especially if you are running a business. The only real expense besides your traditional consumables in terms of ink and paper is going to be the maintenance box, which you're going to replace probably every 6 months if you have a pretty decently consistent business, maybe once a year if you're doing a little bit less, or it could be even longer if you're just a casual printer. So if you're in the market for a new sublimation printer, I definitely recommend checking this one out. Ours is from Johnson's Plastics Plus, and we had an outstanding experience with them. Be sure to check out our overview video to hear all about that. Now, I don't need my print preview here for this because the print preview on this one is going to open up the Epson print preview, which I don't want. So I'm just going to click OK. And I can see my print preview perfectly here in Affinity's print manager. Now, there's nothing else for you to change in Affinity, no matter what type of printer you're using. Everything else should already be your default. The only thing is setting those settings within your properties if you need to do that for your sublimation printer. When you're ready to go, just click OK, and it will send it off to print. We are over here at Blue the Fusion IQ, and I am going to put some blowout paper on the bottom. You are going to want to do this anytime you do a full bleed design, or if you happen to be printing on one that's already been printed on one side. As I mentioned before, I printed these a year ago, and I just wanted to do the back side. It was always in my plans, but I just kind of ran out of time, and winter came and went last year, so we're catching up on it this year. Now I have my design, and I've already gone ahead and cut that out. And I'll also let you in on a little secret. I actually printed this 1 year ago. Like I said, I always intended on doing both sides, and for one reason or another, I didn't end up getting it done. And so we printed this a year ago, and we're gonna go ahead and see how it transfers. A lot of people ask if sublimation prints are good, like if they last, and the truth is that they do. They're typically expected to be good for a year or two if you keep them properly stored. And we're gonna go ahead and put that to the test. Worst case, I have to refilm this part of the tutorial. All right, so I am making sure I get this pretty close to the edge. I did trim this. If you look, I trimmed right up to the edge. So I'm gonna just try and get that just over the edge because I want that snowman to not get cut off. All right. And okay, I think we're good. We're gonna put our other piece of blow up paper on there, and then we're gonna go ahead and slide this on back. We are pressing this today at 400 degrees with medium firm pressure for 60 seconds. This is the setting I generally use whenever I'm doing a thicker or heavier weight sublimation textile material. In terms of selling placemats, you guys know if you've been here for a while, I always recommend items like placemats and garden flags to be double-sided because it's just an easy way to add value to them. For an item like this, I would definitely sell them in a set of 4. You don't really need to add anything to them, but if you did want to kind of level up your offering, you could choose to incorporate something like charger plates or napkins. What I wouldn't do is make the napkins. I wouldn't go with sublimation napkins. Instead, what I would do is get some low-cost cotton napkins to complement it and then create a little table setting bundle. Remember that when you are looking to elevate your product offerings, it's not about adding more work to yourself. It's just about adding more value, and we can do that by incorporating ready-made items. So we'll go ahead and pull this off. And there's our beautiful placemat. It's a little hot. Ooh, it's very hot actually. But you can see our transferred great, even though it was printed a year ago, which of course makes me very happy. So I didn't have to waste any ink. And then our backside is still intact. If you are doing double-sided back to back, you always just want to let your substrate cool completely before you do that second side. That's going to ensure that nothing happens with your original design. You can find the link for everything that we used today, including the designs, in the video description. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.